Hi VC, back again. Like I said in the last video I did, I'm going to do a thing just on jazz. I called it All That Jazz. Nice. If you've ever seen the Fast show, comedy show here in England, there used to be a little section in it, and they used to do a sequence of a jazz club, and every so often the guy would just look at the camera and sort of say nice. And it was just sort of a comedy because basically the music playing in the background was very bad. It was just sort of a joke taking the piss out of jazz, supposedly. So that's why that's in the title of the video. So first off, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about how I sort of first got into jazz, and then just show you a couple of bits. Like I said in my last video, I'm doing this video partly because I've seen Daniel James's Jazz Odyssey videos and sort of really enjoyed watching his. So I thought I'd just sort of have a go at doing one of my own. And it's just a way to sort of split up showing some of the things I've got in recent months, as opposed to just mixing everything together and keeping the videos a bit shorter, hopefully. So first sort of jazz that I was sort of shown was by a friend at school when I was about 14. He had two older sisters, and he bought me in a tape, recorded on a blank tape of Miles Davis, Kind of Blue, and that was my sort of first introduction to sort of jazz. I've probably sort of heard things at home or on the telly and things, but not, 14 you don't, just really wasn't on my radar sort of thing. So yeah, that was my introduction. From there there was a television series on the BBC called The Beiderbecke Affair, and it was just a sort of situation comedy type thing, and it was just about a couple. Basically the guy just loved jazz and he was really into Bix Beiderbecke, and so that sort of sent me off. They played some of his music during the series, so that sent me off, and I got this Bix Beiderbecke, the Bix Beiderbecke story, and this is 4 CDs. I did have a vinyl of him, but I got rid of it at some point, so this is sort of something that I've re-got. But yeah, this is sort of one of the earliest sort of jazz things I listened to, and this is really early. I mean, this is, I think he's sort of 20s sort of jazz, basically, so really sort of early jazz, really. I'm sure it sort of says on here. And yeah, so that was one of the sort of second sort of thing that I sort of got about. It says the recording date. So yeah, I mean, it starts in 1924, the recordings on this, and run till 1930 is the latest ones. And he died around that time, very young when he died. So yeah. But anyway, if you don't know him, check him out. Bix Beiderbecke. He was a cornet player. But like I say, this is all old jazz sort of thing, but still very good. After that, again, it wasn't sort of something I listened to a lot when I was still a teenager. Like I said, I got the tape off my friend, the Kind of Blue, this, the Bix Beiderbecke, which is really good. And the next thing I remember was probably around about 18, was sitting up in the bedroom watching telly at home one night late, when I'd gone to bed late at night, and sticking the telly on, and the Clint Eastwood film about Charlie Parker was on Bird, and I can just remember sort of, it's just a great film. I still love it. I've got it on DVD somewhere, and yeah, that just completely blew me away. The music in it, the story, everything. And really sort of from then onwards, that's when I got into jazz and sort of really started looking, and bought a couple of Charlie Parker albums, and then you just sort of go from there, because you look at the Miles Davis. I bought the Miles Davis Kind of Blue, so then you look who played on that, and then you go to John Coltrane, and from Charlie Parker, was it Miles Davis he played with. You've also got sort of Dizzy Gillespie, and then, as we all know, you just sort of spin off. You've only got to look at the people who played with them. I mean, Miles Davis again, you've got Herbie Hancock, Tony Williams, Wayne Shorter, so you just sort of spin off in all directions, and that's sort of where my love of sort of jazz came from. So yeah, just thought I'd share that with you. I've got a few pieces to show here. I will talk a bit more about sort of more of my things later, but I don't want to keep these videos too long. I'm not sure how long this one is. But anyway, I was lucky enough, my brother-in-law moved house just before Christmas, and as he was sort of moving all his stuff out, he came across his record collection, and he very generously donated it to me, as he no longer has a record player and he doesn't have any physical music at all now. It's all digital. He basically gave me CDs, some of them here, that's a couple of years ago now. He got rid of all his CDs. He said he got them all on the computer, so he didn't need them anymore. So I got a pick of his CDs as well, which is very nice. And I've just taken out all of the jazz ones out just to show you. And yeah, so first of all is this one. This is Poindexter's Pony Express. Now this is somebody I'd never heard of. I've listened to this one, it's really good. Here's a saxophone player, and yeah, I mean, it's really good. It's really interesting when you sort of read all the stuff on the back. It's from, I'm just trying to work out what year it's from, 1963. But yeah, it's a great album. Check him out if you've never heard of him. And like I said, I've never heard of him. So yeah, check him out. Really good stuff. Next one up is a English trumpet player who sort of started in the probably in the sort of 40s, late 40s, and sort of been playing jump. Well, he died a few years ago, but that's Humphrey Littleton. This is called South Bank Swing Session, and this is from 1973. This is live from Queen Elizabeth Hall, London. That's the South Bank Centre. So yeah, I mean, that's excellent. Again, I've managed to listen to this one. So yeah, that's a really good one. Check it out. Again, he's probably more. He was sort of in the what's classed as the trad jazz scene in England in the sort of late 50s, 60s. Yeah, but he's really good. I think his most famous song is Bad Penny Blues. If you look it up, and it was the first record ever to be produced by Joe Meek. So yeah, check that one out, it's really good. Next up, I haven't had a listen to this. This is Roland Kirk, and this is Introducing Roland Kirk. And like I say, I haven't listened to this, I don't know any of his stuff, I've heard of him. And as you can see there, he's got 3 saxophones in his mouth, and that's what he's all notorious for, is playing more than one at a time. So that'll be interesting when I eventually get round to it. So yeah, looking forward to that. Next up is somebody I suppose everybody knows, is Louis Armstrong. This album's called Yeah, and this is from, I'm not sure what year this is from. Doesn't actually say. But yeah, like I said, I haven't listened to all of these yet, so that's a nice one to have. It's always good to have a bit of Louis Armstrong. I've got some on CD. I've got a collection of sort of his early stuff, which is sort of like the Hot 5s, Hot 7s. And I've got another LP upstairs, which is Louis Armstrong Plays Fats Waller, which is quite a good one. I'll show that another time. Next up, the ones I got from my brother-in-law is this, Louis Armstrong, The Unforgettable. And this says original recordings. It's just sort of a best of. There's mono recording as well actually on it, and this is just all different. So that was a really nice one. Next up is this one, and this is Melly Sings Hoagie. And if you don't know who this is George Melly. He's an Englishman, so, and he's all very well known over here. And I mean, I haven't listened to this yet, but I mean, I've known lots about him and things, so I don't know when this one's from. Sorry about this, it looks really bad, like that. Don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, this is a great record. Like I say, I've only just got them, so yeah, that'd be nice to listen to. Next up is this one, which will be interesting again. It's Jazz Greats. This has just got loads of different people: Coleman Hawkins, King Collier, Lucky Thompson, Jimmy Hamilton, Ernie Royal, Acker Bill, Willie the Lion Smith, Lee Irvin. Yeah, that looks really good. Next up, I'm not even sure whether you call this jazz or not. I mean, it's just sort of said on the last LP, Nelly sings Hoagie, and this is Hoagie Carmichael, and this is just called Hoagie. And again, I haven't listened to this. I don't know much about him, so that'd be an interesting one to listen to. And last but not least, again, whether this is sort of jazz, I mean, it's ragtime, I suppose. This is a collection of Scott Joplin's rags. I mean, and everybody probably knows the first two songs on here, which is The Entertainer and Maple Leaf Rag. Even if you don't think you know them, once you hear them, you will. They're sort of very well known pieces. So yeah, so that's all what I got off my brother-in-law. Like I say, I'm not an expert on jazz by any means. I like sort of certain bits, Miles Davis, John Coltrane. Miles Davis is probably the main sort of artist that I like, and then I go off John Coltrane and some others, but I haven't got that sort of bigger collection. I'm still exploring. It's such a large sort of genre to explore, and there's only so much time we have to listen to it. What you're listening to in the background is this, which is Cameron Pierre, and it's called Radio Jumbo. Jumbo. I'll get the glare off that. There you go. And this is basically, was a guy when I went to see Courtney Pine, who was a British saxophonist. He was in his band, and I bought this CD at the gig, and he was really good. I hope you can hear it in the background. If not, check it out. Cameron Pierre, really good. The other thing I said, like in my last video, that I was going to talk about was I went to a gig last week. Yeah, last Wednesday. It's almost a week ago now, and it was to celebrate. I'm just trying to find it in this booklet I've got here. There you go. If you'll be able to see that. It's the 75th birthday of Blue Note, and this is at the Pizza Express Club, Jazz Club. And what they're doing is, each month an artist is performing a well-known album off of Blue Note, and I went to see Empirical, which is this band, perform Herbie Hancock's Imperial Isles, and from 1964 album, and it was absolutely amazing. It's sort of quite interesting, the sort of difference. I mean, I mainly go to sort of rock gigs, sort of blues rock, that sort of thing. So to go and see, I've seen a few jazz gigs, but not many. And to go there, I mean, it's in a Pizza Express, it's in tables, you're sitting down. I mean, where I was sitting, you had me, table right in front of me, and literally the other side of that was the drummer. I mean, literally, I could have sort of tapped him on the shoulder. That's how close I was, and I watched him, and I watched him from across his drums the whole night, which was really, really nice to watch, sort of thing. But it was quite different because you're not sort of a rock gig. It's just so loud. You're sort of bludgeoned into, I don't know. It's just there in your face. Whereas in the jazz gig, they had a policy, no talking during the performance. So it's not too loud. It's quite sort of mellow and chilled out, if you like. And yeah, it was really good. And I was surprised they actually played the whole album. They changed the order of the songs to suit themselves, but basically because they didn't have a piano player or a trumpet player, but the Vibes basically played the piano parts, or some of them, and then obviously the saxophone took the trumpet parts. Well, they played the whole album in the first set, went off, had a sort of 15-minute break, and then came back on and played an hour of their own music. And they sort of played, they said they played stuff that was more in keeping with the Imperial Isles CD or that type of music, as opposed to some of them more out there stuff. But absolutely superb gig, really good. Definitely, if you've never heard of them, definitely check them out. Empirical. I think this is their second album. Their first album, they had a different configuration. They had a piano player called Kit Downs, who's now plays on his own. He's really good. Kit Downs trio on his own, so check him out. The other one is Jay Phelps, who's a trumpeter, who does his own stuff as well. And then it was the saxophone player, bassist and drummer on the original album. Then the keyboard player and the trumpeter left, They did another thing, and then they did another album. I think it was this one, when they got sort of some guests on to help them out. And basically, the violin player who played on this, he stayed. And they've made another 2 albums since then. But yeah, if you like your jazz, definitely worth checking out. Another thing I'm just going to say is I've got another gig coming up at this jazz club again next month. And this is the guy I was just talking about. I can find it there. And it's J Phelps, this one here. No, that one. J Phelps. And it's called Projections of Miles, and it says trumpeter J Phelps has assembled an all-star lineup to perform the wonderful music of Miles Davis. Phelps' aim is to breathe new life into the legendary trumpeter's music with his new band project. And then it just lists some of the people. I mean, I don't know any people. It's Logan Richardson, alto saxophone, Soweto Kitch, tenor saxophone, I've heard of him, he's a British saxophonist, Bennett McLean, piano, Tim Thornton, bass, and Shane Forbes, drum. So yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that next month, so that'd be a good one to check out. But I hope you enjoyed it. This has been my All That Jazz, and yeah, please leave comments if you want to ask any questions about anything, or just send some information or anything. Please just write a comment or like it or subscribe. Thanks, bye.